All right, what's going on, everybody? I got like 20 minutes to spare, so I'm gonna knock out a quick live stream right quick. You know, yeah, I talk some sports right quick. I'm gonna do some NFL right quick and do some boxing, of course. But I just wanted to talk about the NFL right quick. Then I'm gonna get the boxing quick little segment on the NFL. So apparently, you have this thing with Dak Prescott and his brother not happy with Jerry Jones because they believe that, well, Jerry Jones is trying to find every way possible to get out of giving Dak Prescott a new contract. This is my thing. I just believe that they're going to find a way to get Dak Prescott out of Dallas. But I will say this much for the Chiefs. The Chiefs have found a way to keep their core team together based off the fact they gave Patrick Mahomes that monster contract. Now, I thought that they would have salary cap issues unless they found some loopholes around the salary cap, because what they're going to pay Patrick Mahomes, you would think it's going to be next to impossible for them to keep that team together. But they did say that they was trying to pass a rule where the quarterback salary doesn't go against salary cap, to where they basically can pay the quarterback whatever they want, and then what they pay the other core members of the team goes against the salary cap. So they basically can pay the quarterback whatever they want. Now, as far as Dak Prescott go, I do that, and like I said, this is no guarantee. I do think if he can go in there and win the whole damn thing, it would make it very difficult for Jerry Jones to get rid of him. But like I said, that's never stopped Jerry Jones before, because keep in mind, he fired Jimmy Johnson right after they won the Super Bowl. So that still doesn't mean that Dak Prescott's job is secure. I think he exceeded expectations. And as usual, the funny part about it is he paid Tony Romo. Tony Romo didn't do nothing. Tony Romo, he just wasn't that good. And that's just the bottom line. Just he just wasn't that good to begin with. I do think Dak got what it takes to be a solid light quarterback, but Jerry Jones, he don't believe in brothers. Like I said, I haven't forgot what he did. He's trying to find to get Dak out of Dallas. And that's just about it. On the D line, yeah, play on the O line. He just don't believe you can lead a team as a quarterback. So I'm just keeping it 100. But anyway, the key thing for Baltimore, I want to see them find Lamar Jackson some superstar wide receivers. I know this name is like a taboo to say this dude's name, but why don't the Ravens look at Antonio Brown? Why not? You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, let me talk about boxing right quick. Boxing, like I said, boxing is headed into the toilet. Unless something dramatic changes, boxing gonna be a thing of the past. Because at the end of the day, you have these content creators. They want to pick sides on who they riding with and who they down with and whose fault it is, why certain fights haven't happened. Then they want to chop down certain black fighters for other black fighters and shit, because of who they allegedly supposed to be signed with. But then again, they love another fighter that's signed with the same promotional company that they supposed to not be able to stand. So at the end of the day, it's more personal and vendetta-ish than it is about who they signed with and shit. So, like I said, it's gonna be everybody's fault if boxing goes into the toilet. It's gonna be the fighters' fault. It's gonna be the promotional company's faults. It's gonna be the TV network's fault. Everybody involved, because at the end of the day, they don't want to give us the fights that we want. It's just excuse after excuse. You get it from these fighters, you get it from these managers, you get it from these promoters, and then they think that they can slick talk you and just tell you some bullshit and think you supposed to buy it, when you look right before your eyes and you like, okay, man, Something ain't adding up with what you telling me. Okay? Because if you look at Canelo, who Canelo might be fighting, this will be Canelo's, I think, fourth fight with DAZN, and I'm just gonna tell you, Canelo has not gave us any blockbuster fights. I mean, the Daniel Jacob fight, that was okay, but I wouldn't exactly call that a barn burner because Daniel Jacobs has lost before. I mean, whether you like it or not, whether you thought the fight was close, he lost to Triple G, and he had been knocked out before. Then you look at Rocky Fielding. Once again, Sergey Kovalev. We all know what was up with that fight. So then you look at these two possible guys that they got lined up for Canelo. You like, oh man. And then it appears that Canelo, for the time being, is gonna stay at 168. Well, here's the thing. Why not David Benavidez? Why not Caleb Plant? And sometimes I get tired of hearing this shit about, well, this dude is the number one contender. But wait a minute. You went up to light heavyweight and you fought Sergey Kovalev for a belt that you basically dropped, that you gave up. But you knew if you would have stayed at light heavyweight, Arthur Beterbiev was going to come knocking down your door. And you knew people was going to start saying, well, hey, what about Beterbiev? But we knew Canelo wasn't stupid enough to fight Arthur Beterbiev. I'm just telling you that right now. Canelo get knocked out if he fight Arthur Beterbiev. He knew better than to take that fight. So that's all I'm saying. And then you hearing these ridiculous things about Canelo could fight possibly at Mount Rushmore and Alcatraz Island. So now you turning boxing into the WWE. So I mean, for real, now it's the WWE where you fighting at Alcatraz. Or next thing you know, you're gonna be having fights at somebody's backyard and shit, fighting in parking lots and shit at Safeway and all that type of shit. So they making a mockery out of boxing. I've never seen an era where you just got a bunch of spoiled fighters. Nobody don't want to fight for legacy no more. It's a couple, but then most of them, hey, if I'm getting $1 million or I'm getting 800,000 to fight a mediocre dude versus $1 million to fight somebody that could possibly kick my ass, then hey, I guess so. But at the end of the day, real boxing fans gonna see right through you and be like, okay, you ain't trying to fight nobody. That's just the bottom line. This is what boxing then came to now. You got people talking about fighting on Alcatraz Island? For real. And then you got Canelo about to fight a mediocre opponent, and then you got, well, Triple G always fights cab drivers. So what else is new? When I say DAZN, to me has been a disaster. I know a lot of people like DAZN, but DAZN to me has been a disaster. I know they used Eddie Hearn as the face, the figurehead, but it hasn't worked. They talked about this. They got $1 billion to play with and all this stuff. And well, where's all these fights? They couldn't sign no marquee fighters. And if they did get a marquee fighter, it was a one-fight deal. They only had Carissa Seals, one-fight deal. Mikey Garcia looked like he headed back to the PBC. They got Demetrius Andrade. And he basically ain't did nothing since he been on there. So, I mean, I'm just saying, man. It's sad what's happening with boxing, man. I grew up watching this sport. I mean, at the end of the day, there were certain fights that couldn't get made. There were certain fights we wanted to see that didn't get made. Yeah, we wanted to see Sugar Ray Leonard versus Mike McCallum, Iran Barkley, Aaron Pryor. But that didn't happen. We never got Lennox Lewis versus Riddick Bowe. But most of the heavyweight fights got made. You got 3 fights with Evander Holyfield and you know what I'm saying, Riddick Bowe. You got 2 fights with Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. So, I mean, as far as heavyweight, when you got most of the fights you wanted. You got Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield twice, or should I say 1.5 times. So most of the heavyweight fights got made. But you look at these welterweights and these welterweights. Nobody don't want to fight each other. All you hear is this shit about call my manager. How about you call a dude? Like I said, it's gonna be universal when boxing go downhill. You ain't gonna be able to blame. It's gonna be universal blame. I can say that much. Everybody gonna be in it together. This gonna be the first time we'll be universally every ethnic group involved in the fall of boxing. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. Now you hearing about Bud, he might have something lined up in November. The names that's being thrown out is Sean Porter, Kell Brook. Like I said, as far as Kell Brook, you should put an asterisk on any possible fight with Kell Brook and Keith Thurman. And then at the very least, a microscopic chance of happening, Terrence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao. I don't believe Manny Pacquiao is going to fight Terrence Crawford. You already been hearing about Manny Pacquiao versus Mikey Garcia. And we all know that Mikey Garcia is going to get shellacked by Manny Pacquiao. More than likely, it'll be a one-sided fight. And Manny Pacquiao will win this fight going away. And then he'll once again circle the wagon, looking for his next cherry pick. But he ain't going near Spence. So we could just stop that charade that he won any smoke with Spence or Crawford. He's had the opportunity to fight both of those dudes, and he has not wanted to fight him. And that's just fact. I'm just keeping it 100. I mean, this shit is frustrating when you sitting up here and you talking about the fights you wish could get made. I've never been in an era in my life where you can't get none of these dudes to get in the ring with each other. Where you got the fighters talk like businessmen, talk like managers. Oh, well, this look, it ain't that much marinating in the world. Like I said, you had all these different promotional companies back then, and fights still got made. Oh, I don't want this company to get this amount of money. I don't want to do this with this guy. Then you hearing shit about crowds, fans, and all that type of shit. Oh, I don't possibly want to take a pay cut. But then you want to pay another dude that has lesser value than a dude that has a belt. You feel like you want to give him millions of dollars, but then you want a champion to take a dude that's coming off his last fight to take less than a dude that got a belt. And then you just can't get none of these dudes in the ring. And it's just stupid. I mean, what are you, I mean, for real, what are you fighting for? You think we supposed to keep watching you fight tomato cans or mediocre competition? But then you got some people pushing that line. They okay with that because certain fighters give them access to shit. But they ain't pushing for the best fights. Look, like I said, I ain't worried about who signed to what promotional company. If unfortunately they signed the Golden Boy, that's too bad for them. But nevertheless, that shouldn't stop them from making these fights. Because I'm tired of hearing these excuses. I'm not finna push that line no more. I'm tired of hearing these excuses from these fighters and these damn promoters. And then some of these content creators that most of them don't even know what the fuck they talking about, just making up shit as they go along. But it sound good. It sound real good. It sounds immaculate. But that's not what's going on. You just got a lot of these fighters acting like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even like to use that word. A lot of these fighters acting like they pee sitting down. Nobody wants to call each other out. You say, how about you fighting this dude? Then this is when the technical shit comes into play. Well, you know, the fight needs to marinate. We need to wait a couple of years. And then you look, I mean, a lot of things come into play. You look at age difference. You look at wear and tear. And then, you know what I'm saying? People don't want to fight each other when they at their peak. So, I mean, when both fighters at their peak, man, this shit is nonsense. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. But yeah, man, I'll be back, man. This your boy Tail Biz. I'm out.